All right, people, we are here for week 9, the last week of the regular season, Scorp. And we are starting off with a banger. Aprater versus Cody. What do we think?
Absolutely, Emerald. What's going on, everyone? My name is Scorpion, and welcome to our last weekly recap of the regular season here in BHDL Season 6. I'm looking forward to this matchup. As you said, we got some heat here. We have a Payapa Berry, what's his name? Grafaya here.
Grafaya,
Multiple
yeah.
weakness policy as well from Adam's side. Weakness policy Whimsicott, which I'm really intrigued to see. And yeah, going to be a good time. Obviously, we see Cody's team as well. Very solid threats. Always excited to see the Isuian Avalok. Yeah, what are we thinking here, Emerald? Who are you favoring here?
Yeah, the Whimsicott is interesting because Cody's team isn't particularly fast. Whimsicott's able to outspeed their whole team, and they don't have too many switch-ins to its Grass Fairy coverage, honestly, so it's pretty solid. We got a final gambit right off the start, Scorp.
Oh yeah, see, I love this because ooh, it nearly takes out them. It's really funny how Cody is all confident in this first turn, right? Obviously getting the Marvel Scott at the end of it. It's oh, this is great positioning, and he just loses the Milotic almost to a final gambit. So if that thing was important this game, now it's weakened. Let's get it. This really opens up Saraledge if you think about it.
It does, and now, like we said, the Whimsicott just comes in, and it's free to just kind of click Moonblast to get some chip off on something, obviously. I mean, you got, like, Espeon that can come in and take the hit, but she doesn't really want to take multiple. So we'll just have to see what's going to happen here.
Absolutely. Cody might also have to respect the potential of his specs. Whimsicott here, which means we might not switch the Hisuian Gudra in. I say
wow,
as he
eats
does
it up.
switch the Hisuian Gudra in, but it does eat up very nicely. However, if Cody does decide to go for a Flash Cannon, this Whimsicott will pop off.
Goes for the EQ, actually, perhaps anticipating the Saraledge to come in. But they do have that weakness policy on deck, so he might want him to go for EQ again.
Absolutely. Well, there is a lot of other ground weak Pokemon. Obviously, we have the Grafaya and
Right,
the Lucario as well, so that was a
Lucario.
very solid play.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But now we actually get the perfect switch into the Saraledge here. As Cody tries to go for the Heavy Slam to take out the Whimsicott this time. It's a physical Hisuian Gudra, which is really cool to see. Might be targeting some specific mons on Adam's team there, but it does give Saraledge a weak armor boost and going to be forced to sack the Milotic off now. We have a Saraledge in Sun, ladies and gentlemen, so Solar Blade is online as well.
Yes, the Milotic is down, though. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the Hisuian Avalok. That would do a lot to that.
We're going to see the Hisuian Avalok come out now. It obviously does have Terror. I just realized that this thing does not have.
Oh, no Solar Blade.
Have...
I thought you had Solar. It's close combat, though. It's Flamethrower.
Yeah,
hit on the special side.
Has close combat, and it has Flamethrower for this Hisuian Avalok. You know what? I was wondering about that while I was here, and we see the reason right here. It's for this Hisuian Avalok, which I think is a really sick tech. I'm wondering how much damage it's going to do in the sun, because this
does have +2 special attack as well.
Exactly.
That's a decent chunk.
That's
the Mountain Gale does manage to hit. More speed boost.
No Rock Stab online, unfortunately, so Mountain Gale's all we're going to get, but with that minus defense drop, it's still going to do quite a bit. And Adam now going to go for a Sun Boosted Bitter Blade to try and get some health back. I don't think it'll take the Avalok out, though, from this range.
He might be anticipating the Avalok to switch out into perhaps the Gudra or something, because, I mean, the Avalok will be dead to the next Flamethrower, so we'll just have to see.
Absolutely, I believe that was indeed a 2 KO. We are indeed going to see Cody switch out now, and Serena is going to come in and eat a big Bitter Blade here. If that thing was a Salt
big health back.
Yep, but that gives it a lot of HP back, and Serena goes down in one hit. Perhaps that was Cody sacking it off, but yeah, this Saraledge absolutely popping off already.
Yep, the sun is gone now, so the Flamethrower I don't believe will be able to kill. Going to try to get a little bit of health back, but it's not going to work out here.
Not going to get us up to full anymore, and Earthquake with -2 defense is easily going to be able to take the Saraledge out. So that's a kill for Hisuian Avalok. Definitely a very annoying Pokemon for Aprater to deal with, considering he kind of just wants to click buttons and, break through. But Avalok, especially because it has Recover, not an easy one to break through, as we all know.
Yes, but it is, at the cost of losing their Saraledge, it is super weakened, and so now they're free to fire off this Moonblast. They do have that Hisuian Gudra to still switch in. I was saying Espeon. I completely forgot that the Gudra is massive special defense.
Absolutely, and this thing does appear to be Assault Vest, unless this Whimsicott is genuinely that wimpy that it can't even do that much damage without the Assault Vest. But unfortunately for Adam, Cody is packing a physical Hisuian Gudra this weekend. That Heavy Slam will just flatten the Whimsicott. So, I'm willing to bet he was trying to, catch him with a Flash Cannon, but yeah, you're not going to stay in this situation.
Yes, if we do assume AV though, that could be good for Lucario, not having to fear the Chople for this close combat.
That is indeed correct, as we are going to see Cody make the safe Earthquake play once again that we were alluding to earlier. Has a lot of great coverage against Adam's team. But now Grafaiai, though, actually does carry the low kick, which is 120 base power against the Suzuya Gudra, I believe. So that might threaten a big KO depending on Cody's EV spread.
Decides to switch out, actually, potentially fearing that. Gonna go into the Avalugg, but I mean, let me see.
That has to be a KO
I
range,
don't.
right,
It
surely?
should be KO range, yeah.
Yep. The Suzuya Avalugg is also very, very heavy, 120 base power on that low kick one as well, and that just about manages to score the KO on it before it can recover. So huge KO there for Adam. But now this Espeon comes out, and we don't have a Dark type on deck this week, so no resistances to Psychic. Yep, there it is, and down goes the Grafaiai. The berry is not enough to save from 22 health.
No, so down goes Grafaiai. In comes the swine flu, the pillow swine. Potentially might try to get some Trailblazers off, but right now it's just gonna go for Earthquake.
It's not live warp as we saw in a few earlier weeks, like a budget memo sign, but we are still going to try and utilize that bulk with a setup sweeper here. Cody, again, recognizing there's no dark types or anything of the sort, so goes for a big psychic. Does do some decent damage, but that Earthquake is so strong in return, so this might actually give Adam an opportunity to Trailblaze while taking the Espeon out.
Who does manage to hang on. And Spadef drop's not gonna matter at 6 HP, so but they have the Guja Hisui and what else? Oh, Palmon. Well, this thing's getting Mach Punch Squirt.
I was just about to say, yeah, we're going to see a Mach Punch here more than likely. But unfortunate for Cody, though, I'm willing to bet he was... Oh, it's Scarf Palmon, actually, never mind. Unless Pilot... You know what, it could actually... The Pilot One is so horribly slow that it gets outsped of -1 anyway, because I know Pilot One is extremely slow.
True enough.
But regardless, I think Cody might have overestimated his Espeon a little bit there, and maybe tried to go for a roll. I think that's what he was trying to go for there with the Psychic.
Ooh, Adam's pulling a double here, anticipating the
Spicy
switch
double.
into the Lucario for this Gudra.
Yep, as you said earlier, Emerald, Expert Insight, obviously we know that this Hisui Gudra is not Choppleberry, so it's not going to be able to take that, and down it goes. So Lucario, from the Spicy Double, gets in position to take the Gudra out, so this is still a pretty solid game being played from both sides here.
Yes, and they still have the Whimsicott. I don't think that the Palmon... Well, it does have... I think it gets Ice Punch, correct? We'll see.
It does get Ice Punch, yes, you are correct.
But Whimsicott should outspeed it. Yep. Unless it's... Or even if it is Scarf, and it's locked into close combat.
Yeah, Adam is kind of celebrating prematurely because he knows that even if the spawn with a Scarf, it's kind of going to be over. So the only thing that really... Yep, it is Choice Scarf, as we were alluding to. Going to get the defense drops, and that Moonblast is going to be able to get the KO now. So down it goes, and that is actually a solid 1-0 win for Adam there. Honestly, I really like how Adam played that. He really just kind of played to the knowledge that Cody would kind of overplay. And yeah, the playstyle worked out, honestly. So GG's, fair play to him, and GG's to both sides.
GG's, great game. All right, so we're here with Fournaubyl versus DrVr. This is going to be a very important game for DrVr getting into playoffs. So right off the bat, we got the Air Balloon Bronzong as the classic parting shot comes off from the Petron.
Yep, so we're going to see Flygon coming. This is actually a pretty important game here, as this is actually going to decide whether or not DrVr gets a shot at making playoffs or not. If he loses this game, he's guaranteed out, but if he manages to win against Fournaubyl, he could potentially stay in. Meanwhile, Fournaubyl is kind of reverse fighting for the perfect record here, potentially getting a 0-9 record, unfortunately. But yeah, we still really appreciate Fournaubyl for his creativity this season. As we can see, we're already seeing a very, very off-meta or sort of out-of-the-box Bronzong set here. We're literally going for that setup, and DrVr is just desperately trying to break through with Surf. So already I'm wondering what this Bronzong is up to.
Yeah, it continues to set up, but, you know, it's just like water eroding a rock over time, you know? It's like just continues to take more chip, and there's doesn't seem to be a way for this thing to heal up. It gets the stored power off, but then look, the Gold Missile takes it out.
I feel like DrVr has low-key been making pretty good use out of that Gold Missile all season. We saw it put in a lot of work against Captain B-Nard, I think, not too long ago. And now against Fournaubyl, really, really coming in clutch as well. So, going to be trading the Cramorant for the Bronzong here. And now we're going to see Petron versus the Kilowattrel, but unfortunately that Malignant Chain is going to make it really difficult to make that trade. And now we're going to see Torterra being switched into the Flygon here with a Tailwind up. Not going to be able to outspeed the first impression, unfortunately, but the Choice Band Woodhammer, ladies and gentlemen,
Ooh,
scores the
look at
one-hit kill on the
that.
Flygon. My favorite Torterra set, yes, it's actually not even Choice Shell Smash. Choice Band Torterra, I love it, Fournaubyl. Thank you so much for bringing that. Clean KO on the Flygon there, as unfortunately Superior does get the revenge kill, but not before getting that beautiful KO.
Yes, very cool to see that. Is this a Scarf Superior, or is Torterra just that slow in Tailwind?
I think this is a Scuff Superior, yes.
All right, good to know. As the red card switches it out, so good on Fournaubyl, classic red card Mimikyu. Able to at least get some setup. Ooh, might be a little bit too greedy here. I don't know. We'll see how much.
Ooh, gets the Rock Tomb, gets the speed drop. That could be huge, because if the Mimikyu actually doesn't even have a terrible speed tier here, obviously, like, I'm pretty sure it outspeed everything but the Superior, but that speed drop is going to make it a lot harder to sweep the team now, especially against this bulky Tauros, which lives the +3 Drain Punch.
Bulky Tauros, impressive. I mean, able to pretty much mitigate this Mimikyu. It's still alive though, but it is weakened. So now it's just time for Serp to just come in. I mean, hey, Shadow Sneak does a good chunk though.
Big Shadow Sneak indeed. As it's actually interesting though, because DrVr has been using this defensive Tauros quite a lot. Like normally Tauros you would see in like offensive roles, like Life Orb, Sheer Force, like Rock Climb spam, right?
Yeah,
But no, not DrVr. He's been making great use of Intimidate all season.
it's just
Now
great
though,
to see.
indeed. Now though, Terrafire Lapras is going to be able to eat the Leaf Storm from the Superior and revenge kill it. So it's actually Fournaubyl in the lead currently, 3-2.
Yeah, this is interesting to see. We do get the Toxic Poison though, which is huge from Petra. Missed out on the Kilowatt, gets it on the Mandibuzz, which is probably much more important. And now just parting shots out.
Yep. Poison Puppeteer, man, absolutely broken ability as it now leaves this Mandibuzz severely crippled. He does taunt the Fortress coming in, but it's actually got lowered offenses now and is poisoned. However, Mandibuzz does get fire coverage, so I'm wondering to see, okay, not going to go for it quite yet, but I do believe Mandibuzz gets Heat Wave, so that might actually put the Fortress in danger later. DrVr are going to choose to keep the momentum, and it's now Petulant versus Lapras. So let's see who comes out of this
Ooh,
exchange.
gets the Toxic
another,
again.
yeah, another Poison Puppeteer proc. That's unfortunate, but does break through at least.
Yes, even though Fournaubyl has the advantage in terms of the number of mons, I mean, this Pecharunt, I mean, with no Steel type on the opposing side, the Bronzong being gone, this is huge for this Pecharunt.
Itself a confusion there. Yep, very unfortunate as it does indeed go down to the poison here. So this Pecharunt very, very tough to break through without the Torterra still on the field. It does go for a big discharge, but it seems to me that this Pecharunt is especially defensively invested, so it takes nothing even from that discharge and takes the Kilowattrel out with Malignant Chain. So Pecharunt, DrVr's round 1 pick, absolutely getting a lot of value in this game.
Yes, brings in the Fortress, as the Mandibuzz does have Roost, but makes me wonder. We've seen Taunt, we've seen Roost. I'm wondering what other moves this thing has left.
Yep. Does go for the taunt. Oh, I believe already. Yep, Fournaubyl just said it in the chat as well. This Mandibuzz does not even have an attacking move, so unfortunately, this game is already over. As
this is tragic.
Yep,
it's just a
slowly
slow death.
Slow, painful death to the Malignant Chain poison, and yeah, we're gonna see the last couple turns come in now. This is definitely a kill for DrVr's Pecharunt here. And Toxic.
Yeah, Toxic, which could not affect this or the Fortress.
Exactly. So Mandibuzz is going to go down. DrVr is going to go for one final Malignant Chain and wins that match 2-0. And that actually puts, spoiler alert, that puts DrVr into playoffs. So GG's to both of them, and congrats to DrVr for this much needed win.
GG's. All right, people, we are here for B-Nard versus Zeus, another very important game for playoffs. B-Nard is kind of just holding on to like a very slight chance. They need a big win, and they also need a lot of other folks to lose. Meanwhile, Zeus is pretty much, I mean, they win and they're just about in, I think.
Absolutely here. It's very, very impressive for Zeus to make it this far. Obviously, newcomers reaching the playoffs in BHDL, not very common, but Zeus has absolutely proven us wrong, especially with his team that was initially not considered very good. He's played this season exceptionally well, and I absolutely salute him for this. We'll see if he can bring it home in this final match.
Yep, we've got the classic specs Jolteon on B-Nard's side. It'll be interesting to see what Zeus is cooking up over there. And he decides to lead off with the Cleavor.
Absolutely. No Galarian Weezing on deck this week, I believe, so that's a very, very interesting one. However, B-Nard, of course, still very much expecting the Cleavor lead and decides to decisively lead off with the Berserker as a result, which is a great play. We'll see if he wants to go for the Iron Head immediately or predict the switch. He does obviously potentially have to fear a close combat, but Berserker might be able to take one depending on the investment.
You know, that is a great point that you mentioned that Weezing, because I really feel like Galarian Weezing would have been excellent in this matchup, especially with Luxray. Just cancel out the guts, and I mean, cancel out the sharpness boost on this Cleavor and resistance
Exactly.
hits.
Exactly, like you X4 versus bug and you get rid of sharpness. Plus you can defog away the rocks immediately. So yeah, definitely interested. I'm definitely interested as well. But we did not see the Galarian Weezing, but still, the game state right now, B-Nard's plan absolutely still did work out. He managed to get the Palossand with a very, very big Iron Head, which is obviously Tough Claws boosted, I believe. And now this thing should be in range of a knockoff, unless that thing is Colbur Berry. So we don't need going to go for it. Decides not to risk the potential ground move and terrestrializing here, which I think is a great play. We'll see if this knockoff actually kills, because I think it will be more powerful than Iron Head. And yes, it does.
Yep.
So great start.
Yeah, I was thinking this thing might outspeed it anyways, but maybe just in case it was Colbur and it managed to live or something like that. But great plays so far by B-Nard.
We're going to see how Zeus wants to respond to this. Now, obviously, he is now also no longer weak to close combat, so Cleavor might struggle with it a little bit more. But we are going to see Empoleon switch in, which might hint towards the fact that this thing is offensive. Empoleon is now going to try and threaten a Flash Cannon, so we'll see what it does. My Empoleon knowledge does tell me that it has, or at least can learn, Grass Knot, so we are going to have to be very careful about switching Gastrodon in.
Yes, at the very least, I mean, Gastron is helped by the fact that it doesn't weigh that much, so it's not gonna die in one hit, but you know, it's gonna take a good chunk.
Yep, I did actually manage to catch Pokemaster's Dondozo with Grass Knot and Empoleon last season. I just KO'd from full, so you got to be very careful with it.
Oh yes, Dondozo's definitely gonna go down to a grass.
Exactly, not even next 4 week, but yeah, just massive weight, 120 base power.
Massive weight and not as much spuff.
Indeed. We're going to see the agility come off now, though, so we're going to see if this Empoleon wants to try and go for a big sweep. We also have Ice Beam on deck for this Trevenant here. Not going to freeze, luckily, for B-Nard, as now this Trevenant's going to go for a big Earthquake. Is it enough to get the KO?
That's unfortunately
a lot of not. Nope, but not weakness policy.
No weakness policy is interesting.
Yep, you usually see weakness policy on agility, so it's not this time, though. Let's see if the Sucker Punch, though, can catch him off guard.
Great on B-Nard for, you know, recognizing the fact that... because, of course, Zeus loves these agility sweepers, and one big way to get around that is with priority, which B-Nard was packing, so great on them.
Absolutely, definitely a good strength of this team there. And Trevenant definitely pulling his weight there, getting the KO on the Empoleon before it can strike back. And that leaves, you know, a couple of mons are getting weakened, so Zeus is definitely still making progress, but that does leave B-Nard up 4-6 already so far.
Yes, and now Mr. Triple Axel is coming in. We'll see what they want to do. I mean... It should be able to take out this Trevenant, so you got to try to figure out what you might want to switch in. If they anticipate a Triple Axel, they got the Rocky Helmet on.
Yep, they do, but unfortunately, courtesy of terrestrializing that thing, you know, it's no longer weak to, resistant to ice. There's actually no ice resists here, and Technician Triple Axel is quite powerful. Now, as you said, obviously Rocky Helmet's going to still punish it quite a lot, but we're going to see what they do. They do indeed go for the Triple Axel, and that unfortunately does take care of the Trevenant.
Trevenant did at least manage to take out the Empoleon, so I figure, you know, it's not too bad of a trade, but now you got to figure out what you're going to do about this Hitmontop.
Absolutely. Here we are actually going to see the Jolteon be switched in instead, which is choice specs. Now I'm wondering if it's actually capable of one-shotting this thing with any one move. Assault Vest Hitmontop, obviously a very real thing, and judging by that Voltage Jam, that definitely looks like an Assault Vest.
Coming off of a specs Jolteon, yeah. Hitmontop, you know, is bulkier than you might initially think just looking at it.
Yeah, it's got the balanced stat spread, right, of the 3 of the Hitmon family.
Yes.
All right, as we're going to see an Earthquake come out now. B-Nard, of course, courtesy of terrestrializing into a fairy, not going to be weak to that, luckily. So he's actually quite safe against this Hitmontop. Unfortunately, does miss out on the Rocky Helmet chip thanks to Earthquake not being contact. But now we're going to see Sylveon being switched in on a very, very bold, maybe.
You know, I don't think that was the best switch in. I'm going to be honest there, Zeus. Bringing in a Sylveon on a Berserker, that's tough.
That poor Sylveon was a deer in headlights there.
Now the Cleavor is in. You know, I have to imagine Stonex probably might kill from this range.
It absolutely should. I mean, we're below half health, and Berserker is bulky, but not that bulky. And unfortunately, it's also very, very slow, or at least Cleavor is definitely a lot faster. This is literally the perfect position you want to be in if you're Zeus. Being able to fire off that powerful Sonic. Missing though could be extremely costly. So we do actually go for the Stone Axe, take a little bit of Rocky Helmet, but luckily we do land. Take the Berserker out and get up Stealth Rock. But yeah, if that Stone Axe missed, that would have been disastrous for Zeus.
Yes, the Rocky Helmet chip, though, I mean, it could be worth it, because I don't think this thing took any chip before, so potentially breaking a Focus Sash there, not a bad idea.
Absolutely not, as it also means might potentially put it in range of Hawlucha or something later. Now we're going to see the Gastrodon come in, which can obviously threaten
I
this
think
thing
it did
with
take some
a
chip.
super effective Water-type move. So we're going to see if B-Nard wants to actually go for that, or whether he wants to start stacking his own hazards, because I don't believe he has any up at the moment.
Yes, let's see, we got, rocks for this Cleavor, could be absolutely incredible, the next time it comes in. And any chip on the Luxray is always good, so.
Absolutely is. We actually do not have a water move on deck this week, and this Cleavor, whoa, that's a lot of damage with Stone Axe.
That's a
That must be
lot of
venomous.
damage.
I
Yeah,
think that's
based
choice
on
man's
that,
Cleavor
oof.
Emerald.
I think that is. I think that is. Um, looks like they're thinking about potentially getting up a spike, and that could be huge because now the Cleavor is dead on switching. Oh, except for the fact they have Hitmon on top that can spin.
Yep. So do I actually catch the switch out though, and do we need to get a spike up now? Unfortunately, I don't think B-Nard has a ghost type on his team though, so
They
this Rapid
did,
Spin,
but
if he
it's
does
dead.
have it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. This Raven is no longer around, unfortunately. So yeah, this Rapid Spin, if it does have it, is completely free. Let's see if Zeus wants to go for it. But yeah, obviously still also just threatening big damage on this Gastrodon because its defense is not as great as its special defense.
Yeah. And I mean, we've seen just how powerful this thing could be. It just drops to the CC.
Yep, that's what I was alluding to earlier. Again, this like Rapid Spin is one thing, but you could also just like click CC and potentially go for the kill there. Very, very unfortunate. Now, I will say before we close the season out, I do want to compliment B-Nard's taste on Gastrodon. I do actually think that the West form Gastrodon, which I believe that is much cooler than the East looking one.
Yep.
So I do respect him for that, for bringing the right Gastrodon form to all these games here. I do love it.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see Jolteon switch in though. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say it just goes back to the season 1 of the BHDL when he had that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this Hitmontop's at -1, so Force is a kill here, and that's great because now, like we said, the spike is still up, Scorp. So really, all that's left is guess what?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Zeus has been losing Pokemon one by one, but now B-Nard is probably thinking, why do I hear boss music? We are locked into Alluring Voice, which will not confuse the Luxray if it goes for agility on this turn. So we'll see if the King Gambit acting Luxray is going to be able to do it here. Yep, there's the Agility Emerald. We're off to the races.
We're off to the races here, and I don't think that B-Nard has any priority moves left.
I'm thinking he could be in trouble. There's no... yeah, like you said, there is no priority moves here. It will outspeed the Jolteon now. Facade doesn't even terrestrialize here, just goes for the raw Facade.
Need to.
That is enough. It doesn't need to, and just takes out the Jolteon. Now in a 2v1 situation, and he's got two relatively offensive pieces left. I'm not sure about this Emerald.
Yeah, it's looking tough. I mean, he might have not terrestrialized there to maybe try to bait something else in, like thinking that they could take it. But then it gets terrestrialized the next turn, so we'll see. I mean, and it on top of that it takes Rock's Chip as well, so Mesprit's bulky, but if this thing terras, I don't think there's any way that this thing can live.
Absolutely no. We're considering going for a big side shock here, which will take the Luxray out. If Mesprit can lift this, though, B-Nard wins on the spot, but that is a very, very big if, and we are going to see the Terra normal pop now, so ooh, this is going to be tough. I think this might KO.
It'll be a really great time to have a Galarian Wheezing right about now.
It is indeed, as Facade, yep, comes off and just cleanly kills the Mesprit here. So unfortunately, it will be able to finish off this game, because even if Facade somehow wouldn't kill the Hawlucha, there's obviously the potential of an electric move as well. You can really just click either or. We're going to attempt to go for an acrobatics here, but unfortunately, yep, it is fast thanks to that agility, and Facade does cleanly kill the Hawlucha. So Luxray, once again, doing what it does best, and that puts Zeus into playoffs.
GG's to both. All right, we're here with Al versus H.I.M. Once again, H.I.M needs to not only win this, but he needs a lot of other folks to lose. And Al is trying to win this to try to keep his spot for the top 4. We got the Moringa Berry returning on the jump left once again. We got a Scarf Duraludon, very interesting, and Adrenaline Orb Whiscash, so some heat coming off of Al.
Absolutely, Al's cooking for this match, and we also see the Avalok come off the bench as well for H.I.M, as well as the Haunter back in action. So definitely a lot of big threats on that side. Obviously, H.I.M also got his double Intimidate core, excuse me. So let's see how this battle plays out. We're going to see Persian into Diancie here to start with. Not a great matchup for H.I.M. But let's see how he responds to this Diancie. Good up. I don't know actually if Parting Shot works here, because Diancie has
I
a clear
don't
body.
know. Clear body. This is an absolutely horrendous spot for HIM to be in. Cannot touch this Diancie.
Absolutely. Super Show Al, yep, indeed recognized that opportunity. Going to go for a Stealth Rock right away, which will be very, very helpful here against HIM's team. As we're going to see the Magnus come out here. Obviously, great play, threatens it with the X-Force Super Effective Flash Cannon, which you're now going to have to run from. But HIM is going to have to be careful in this game, though, because if Diancie catches this thing coming with an Earth Power later, that could be trouble.
Yes, indeed. And they got a great switch into this thing. Being Assault Vest Electros, a mon that I've honestly really liked to use in draft. It's pretty good.
So for sure, it's got that great coverage, really, really good Assault Vest user, no weaknesses. HIM going for a very, very smart body press expected to switch out. That definitely would have done more than any stab attack would have. But now, unfortunately, going to be switched out, or forced to switch out, rather, as the boots from Avalok are going to be knocked off. So if Al can outlast the Avalok with his Diancie, he will be able to keep rocks up.
Big damage.
But yeah, right as I say it, this Electros immediately just chips it down with Flamethrower. So Emerald, I think he will be outlasting the Avalok.
I think he will be. I think he's gonna kill it with his Volt Switch here.
Yep, there it is. Down it goes. Goodbye, Avalok. No more.
Yes, he did at least manage to get rid of the rocks. That's pretty solid. Nice little Game of Thrones themed Avalok there. But now, I mean, they can always just try to get the rocks back up again later with the Diancie, and we'll see what Al wants to do here. The world is kind of his oyster here.
Going to consider going into the Duraludon here, maybe, or we're going to go back into the Diancie. Obviously, considering his option, as he does actually get to go into the Uxie instantly enough here, which could potentially be used to get some slow momentum here. It doesn't have rocks, but it does have U-turn and a rocky helmet.
Yes, and now the Persian is in. They might seem to want to go hard Diancie on a potential parting shot here, and then that's just going to allow him to get free rocks up again.
So we're actually going to go for a Dark Pulse. That does absolutely nothing. Jesus, Diancie is very, very bulky. You know what? It
almost
didn't actually
healed
occur
it.
to me until... Didn't actually, yeah, exactly. It didn't even occur to me until quite recently that, which sounds weird considering how much Gen 7 OU have played, but it didn't even occur to me how much frailer Diancie get when it Mega Evolves.
Yes, absolutely. The definition of a glass cannon is now going to just fire off that body press. They did stop them from getting up rocks, so, kudos to HIM for that. I'm guessing that they probably really want to protect their Gyarados in the back from rocks.
Absolutely, especially now that the on Gyarados, very, very scary when it is able to have the sort of customization of another item and isn't forced into running boots. Gonna pivot out now, though, not obviously wanting to get blocked by Parting Shot. We're going to see a big, big crit from Body Press come into the Tauros now, which cuts right through the Intimidate.
Yes, and I'm guessing anticipating an Earthquake that they're going to go Uxie. We'll see what HIM decided to go for. Goes for the CC. Eats it up, but, it does a little bit of chip.
That actually, well, I don't even call that chip. That's quite a lot of damage considering how bulky Uxie is, and it resists CC. I wonder if that's choice banned again.
It could be. We know HIM loves their choice items on the Tauros as it decides to switch it out, but unfortunately, after the Rocky Helmet chip, that thing is below half.
Yep, actually goes hard Haunter on the Uxie as well. If that thing ate a mystical power, it might have honestly just gotten out because Haunter's defenses are absolutely it is as frail as a noodle.
Yeah.
But luckily, didn't actually go for it, and we're able to catch the U-turn. So we are able to put Haunter in position, but not before Owl gets to choose an advantageous matchup. So might be a little bit too early to start throwing off Terra Ghost Shadow Balls or whatever he has.
Yep, decides just to go for the rocks. There's nothing to stop him from doing so. I don't think that this Haunter could possibly knock this Diancie out in one hit, but maybe he can get some chip. Decides just to switch it out, though.
Nope. Would be very interesting if Haunter got Flash Cannon in this situation, but nope, it does not, as Al is going to be able to find this mission to put in a mon that does have Flash Cannon. I'm interested to see if he actually, maybe wants to catch HIM staying in aggressively, just Earthquaking, but nope, he is going to switch out into the Whiscash instead, which will block a Volt Switch.
Yep.
Yep.
Anticipating the
existence.
Electros, so good on Al for kind of conditioning H.I.M there. But just so many switches to this Magnezone, honestly.
Emerald, I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I did not realize that Whiscash got fucking Sparkable moves.
You know,
I assumed it's
I
gonna
didn't realize
Gyarados.
it either, but I think we both know what Mon he's got that for.
Exactly. That is a wild tech, I gotta say. But you know, that's what draft is for. You explore these unseen moves on these unorthodox Pokemon. Like, it's beautiful.
Yep. Does manage to drop his attack back down to neutral, but it's going to go for a second DD, and now it's still got that +2 speed.
Absolutely. Whiscash does actually get Oblivious, which would allow it to block a potential Intimidate, but out potentially not choosing to go for that, hoping to catch the Adrenaline Orb. But Gyarados switches in and unfortunately is Mox. That plan's not going to work out, unfortunately.
But he's got enough speed regardless, and now gets to go for the Spark, and boom, the Gyarados goes down!
Down it goes. Beautiful tech there. But again, if I was H.I.M in that situation, I would not be expecting that Spark either.
No, this is the type of stuff you only see in draft, and I'm not even sure if I've ever seen that in any draft league outside of BHDL.
Ooh, indeed. As we see the Scarf Haunter now, Emerald, revenge killing
Ooh,
this.
that's huge.
Like what even was this thing? Wasn't it a +2? It was at least a
It was a
+1 for
+2.
sure.
It was a +2.
Yeah, exactly. So +2.
Thankfully, the
Whiscash here
Adrenaline
getting
Orb
one
didn't
spec.
activate for HIM. It didn't bring Intimidate, because otherwise it would have outsped it.
Yeah. Loki that was saved in there. Moxie Gyarados saving him from there. But yeah, this is indeed now confirmed to be a Scarf Haunter with Giga Drain of all things. So I do love that HM actually like considered the Whiscash. Like, it's not a mon that you would always consider even in prep, considering it's a Whiscash, you know?
Well, it does have that Dragon Dance potential, so I can understand. At least pack a coverage move for it. Makes sense.
Yeah,
But now this anytime this Persian's in, the Diancie comes in. Anytime the Magnezone in, you just send in the Electros or even Duraludon. So we'll see.
Yep. We are able to cripple its longevity though, which is great. Big knockoff coming there. But unfortunately, I feel like HM is kind of just struggling to make progress right here. Because as you said, you know, we're not going to be able to get up rocks anymore, but like it doesn't really matter because we already have them up anyway.
The
So who
rocks are
cares,
already
right?
up, so not much point in time. I guess at least they prevent a potential spike, but I mean, just the body press is doing massive damage. And now a Diamond Storm for a potential +2 defense raise.
Yep, as we are going to be able to go into the Haunter now, and unfortunately, that
Oh,
catches
well,
Diamond Storm.
goodbye.
Yep, I said it before, I'll say it again. Haunter is very, very frail, and yeah, HM, I respect it. You know, you got to make a bit of a risky read there, potentially going for it. But yeah, just caught the Diamond Storm, just got popped.
Yep. Now, at least with the Whiscash gone, you should be able to go for a Volt Switch here. As they do just opt to go for a Flash Game. Maybe thinking that this time they might stay in, but nope, they're just going to switch out. They got to save the Diancie because it's pretty good in the end game.
Yep. You know, it's funny, I only just clogged that the ground type move that Downs is carrying was Spikes. It wasn't even Earthquake, but you know, we'll obviously still do threaten the Magnezone with the body press, so that is definitely scary. Now we're going to sack the Persian off though to this Electros, which is, you know, this Electros has been putting in numbers as well, or like at least done a good job this game.
Absolutely. The potential banded Tauros is in though, but we still got that Uxie. Oh, but apparently HM pulling a double trying to catch it.
Another spicy double here as we're going to go back into the Magnezone, potentially expecting the Dialcy, which obviously does resist both of Tauros's. Actually, it doesn't even resist Tauros's. Neutral to fighting, do excuse me. But we do find a Magnezone out into the Uxie, and it goes for a Discharge, which allows it to paralyze the Uxie. You know, it does get the 30%. I didn't actually get to see what item ever was.
That was
that
Scarf.
Magnezone?
That was
Yep,
Scarf Magnezone.
I had a feeling because Uxie is like not that slow, and Magnezone is.
Yes, absolutely. It says to switch out, not wanting to risk any paras. Bring in the Electros, same as before. HM able to Volt Switch out. Now they're free to switch out moves, but they do got to be wary of that Flamethrower on that Electros.
Absolutely. Tauros, unfortunately, not going to be able to switch in one too many times here. As that, you know, with the Rocky Helmet, actually very, very costly if he just attacks into that. Yep, there's the close combat. Not going to be enough to take Uxie out. And is the Rocky Helmet enough to finish it up? It is.
Yes, after all those rounds of rocks and Rocky Helmets, the Tauros finally goes down.
Yeah, I feel like Al was just really, really able to like sort of whittle HIM's team down here in this situation. Just kind of just play the long game and just outlast them.
Yeah, they got plenty of switches to their Mons, and so they're just continuously able to keep the position here. as this Magnezone is H.I.M's final Pokemon, and so with one more Body Press, this Duraludon will be able to clinch the game for Al.
Yep, Scarf Steel type versus Scarf Steel type. Duraludon able to come out on top with those powerful body presses. But honestly, that dish, like, he was honestly one para away from at least killing the Duraludon there, because that was taking a lot from discharge. Really shows how
Yes,
piss poor Duraludon's special defense is without Inviolate.
absolutely. But GG's to both. Great game. And with that, Al, well, I think they're already clinched for playoffs, but at least helps their position out. All right, we are here for Brandon versus Kingbura. This is do or die for Brandon here. They've got the classic Scarf Staraptor. They got the Rindo they got to have on the Quagsire, and Power Herb on Skeletor. Seems like he's learning from his last match from Lazyboi.
Absolutely, here we got some really fire attacks from Brandon, but Emerald, I think the highlight of the match is if we look on the
Ooh.
opposing side and look what we see at the bottom.
We see
there.
the mascot.
The mascot of the Italian Inkay. Kingbura is choosing to bring his mascot Inkay to this final week.
My friend Inkay.
Absolutely. I absolutely love it when people bring their NFEs off the bench for the final game. You know, I brought my Munchlax last season in week 9. Absolutely love it here. So we'll see if that Inkay puts in some work this battle. We're going to see the Cobalion lead against the Quagsire here. Brandon definitely choosing the lead correctly here. However, we are actually going to choose to go right into the Skeletors there. Sorry, I couldn't talk.
No, you're good. Perhaps anticipating Kingbura to switch out. So Brandon, yeah, he's got everything on the line. So he's trying to play, I think, to his absolute best here.
Absolutely. He obviously knows that Kingbura is not going to go for a Volt Switch here at the very, very least. Maybe Sky. I don't know if Cobalion does get a Grass type move, but he actually does go for a switch into a Taunt, which obviously would have prevented him from getting a Brox. And Cobalion, you know, very bulky, so an Earthquake might have done that much anyway. So definitely a good play, and this actually puts the Skeletor in position to go for a powerful Torch Song. So let's see what that does.
Yes, in comes the Primarina, just like Brandon planned. He's got the +1 now, and with that, I think that unless this thing is like max FF Assault Vest, I do believe he said that the Solar Beam should be able to kill in theory.
Yep, absolutely fire attacker. But with the Primarina, we'll see if this thing is faster potentially as well, because if it is faster, it will definitely score a big KO with a water move. So we'll see about the speed investments here. As, unfortunately, Kingbura goes for a Moonblast here, expecting the Skeletors to switch out. Not expecting the Stoic Witch, but, you know, it makes sense, because Torch Song is like, you know, a setup move, right? But you can throw it out kind of anyway. So it makes sense that you want a Torch Song and then sometimes just switch out. But it actually does live the Solar Beam as well, unfortunately.
Yes,
So
and that it is below 30% or whatever. So this is going to be a Torrent boosted Sparkling Aura. It does massive damage to this Komala.
That does so much damage, bro. Primarina absolutely putting in work. Definitely showing why this Pokemon is worthy of being a round 1 pick. Because this is what Kingbura picked first, I believe. I believe he powered on
yes,
later.
round 1 Primarina.
Absolutely, as we're going to see the U-turn come out from Brandon here, obviously not wanting to switch in anything else into this powerful Sparkling Aura here. And we, you know, if you had a Suyin Goodra here, you'd be able to take it on a little bit better. But we have regular Goodra. We're weak to Fairy. We can't switch into this Primarina.
Nope. Out comes another one, and down goes the Komala. So no Rapid Spin support for Brandon, but they do have the Scarf Staraptor to come in to revenge kill.
You know what, Emerald, fill me in. Why do people use Sparkling Aria over Surf, other than the fact that you can say that you're using Primarina's signature move? Because I believe Surf is,
you know,
like,
I've asked myself that same question. I think it's just because it looks cool. It looks cool. The animation scorp.
It does, but Sparkling Aria heals you from burns, you know, so that could potentially be.
I guess you may as well, just in case.
Yeah, like at least in Generation 7, right, you had a reason to use Sparkling Aura, because then you could use, like, what's it called, Oceanic Aprater, or whatever Primarina's Z move was called. I believe that's it. I believe it's Oceanic Aprater. But in this generation, that's not a thing, you know, so could realistically be using Surf if you want to avoid healing your own burns. But yeah, I mean, I respect the animation, you know, I do like my signature moves, and
oh, also, it is a sound-based move, so it can go through sub without having to run Liquid Voice, Hyper Voice.
Oh, and then you can even use it with Throat Spray, I believe.
Oh, true enough, so. Makes sense.
That's Primarina's Tesco Torch Song.
Yes, absolutely. The Lurantis is in. Interesting what's going to happen here, though. Kingbura is really thinking about what they're going to send in for this guy.
Absolutely. They clearly did not want to like take any chip on anything else, because we did see him not switch the Primarina out. Obviously, he was weakened before, so there's not much reason to keep it around. But we did see the Primarina just staying on the strapless U-turn, and down it goes. But now we're going to see it switch into the Cacturn here, which is a Terra Captain. So Brandon might just be sacking the Skeletor's off here to potential knockoff. But I see a Spiky Shield come out instead.
Yeah, I mean, this knockoff is going to do big damage. Although it did lose its power, but still, I mean, this is a Cacturn stab, pretty powerful. So we'll see.
Absolutely. I believe for all its flaws, Cacturn does actually have a pretty good attack stat. So it's my KO. We are going to see Kingbura pop the Terastallization now, so Brandon is able to scout for a Bisecting Stage off, and we are Terra Poison this week.
Goes the knock, and down goes the Dirge.
Down it goes. So that's going to knock Brandon down to 4 Pokemon here. You know, we're running a little bit low on switch-ins here, because we did switch the Lurantis out before. And now we're kind of considering what to go into. I mean, Staraptor, I wonder if Staraptor can just kill with a raw Double Edge or Brave Bird here.
It might be close. We'll see. They do have things like Hippo that can switch in, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going for. But yeah, in this position, you may as well just fire off a Brave Bird and start doing as much damage as you can, because you got to start breaking through Kingbura's team.
We are going to go for that Brave Bird here, Reckless boosted, as Kingbura actually scouts for the intentions of potentially even scouting for a choice item on this Raptor, which it is Choice Scarf, and it's going to be able to see that it locks itself into Brave Bird. So we'll see if the Hippowdon comes out now, because I don't believe Staraptor can 2 KO a physically defensive Hippowdon. That thing is extremely bulky.
Yeah, you know, this is pretty good tech from Kingbura, just because if you think about it, before, obviously, Brandon's team was infamously very bulky, didn't have much offense. One of the best offensive Pokemon on here, well, 2 of them, Staraptor and Lokix, and Spiky Shield is great for both of those mons.
Absolutely, so definitely taking that into account. We are actually going to see the Lycanroc switch in instead, which luckily is able to obviously resist this thing's dual stabs, but still taking about half from that Brave Bird there.
I'm surprised they didn't just go out to Hippo. Maybe they feared it being banded or something. They didn't want to take a bunch of damage on it, but the Lycanroc is interesting.
I'm questioning that myself, because if it was banded, it might have honestly just gotten popped. Like,
yeah.
There isn't also really anything else that the Hippowdon really needs to check, so it's not like you're like preserving health on it. And unfortunately, this Accelerock is also just going to thud into the Quagsire.
And it's Life Orb, so it's almost dead.
Yeah, it's not having the greatest time here.
Alright, so Brandon at least is able to get a little bit a better position now. Able to potentially get up some rocks, force this thing out. Goes to the Trailblaze, which thanks to the Rindo would absolutely eat that up.
Yep, not even going to do a half here, as where the Life Orb chip and the Earthquake is easily going to be enough to take it out. You know, now that Lycanroc is down and we're slowly chipping down on Monzu Kingbura, I wonder when that Inkay is going to come out.
If the Inkay does come out, it might be a good opportunity to get up some rocks, perhaps. We will see.
Absolutely. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what Inkay does. I also have absolutely no idea what Malamar is supposed to do when it actually, you know, evolves and becomes a good Pokemon. So, be interested to see how it's going to work out. I don't believe Inkay is a Terra Captain. I'm going to go double check that right now, but I don't believe it is. Draft Kingbura. There, Inkay is not a Terra Captain. Nope.
They do have the Surf on deck to hit this Hippo on the special side, so good tech from Brandon there. Might honestly just be a good idea to try to chip this thing down.
Absolutely, no Toxic on deck this week. That could have potentially been even better, but
Toxic
obviously
would have been great.
Yep, but obviously Cobalion, you know, switches into Earthquakes. Like, it's really, really bulky, honestly. Cobalion does switch into Earthquakes from Quagsire any day of the week, despite it being super effective. So we're going to see the Lurantis come in now instead, which I think is a great play from Brandon, as the Earthquake doesn't do that much.
Yep, threatened with the big Leaf Storms to get this thing set up.
Yep, speaking of Tesco, this is Brandon's Tesco Superior right here, but it can Terra, so, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Let's see, they have Cobalion still. They have the Inkay. They have Hippo. And what's another one that they have?
Cobalion still around, I think.
Yeah, Cobalion.
Mentioned that one.
Yeah. Big. They just just let this thing take a bunch of. Lurantis being even slower than Hippo is crazy.
Actually, I think, you know, I was a little bit flabbergasted by that myself, Emerald, but I believe that it's because we are dealing. Oh, never mind, we are not dealing with a Choice Scarf Hippowdon. That Lurantis really is just that slow. Yep, it's leftovers.
All right, well, he did manage to. It might have been better at that point, just to try to chip that thing with Surf and then let Lurantis come in. But that's the problem, though, is that Lurantis was just going to get outsped by whatever else comes in. But at least, yeah, Quagsire saving it for the Cobalion might have been a better idea. We'll see, though.
Absolutely is. Hippowdon now is greatly chipped though, so as we were alluding to earlier, this now does leave Kingbura with limited switch-ins to this Choice Scarf Raptor here. We are going to go for the Brave, but it will be easily enough to take the Hippowdon out, so down it goes. And we'll see if Kingbura has an easy response to this, because the Lycanroc is down. No Accelerock on deck anymore.
Would you believe me if I said that Hippowdon is 2 points faster than Lurantis?
No, that's crazy. Yeah, I
Hippowdon
know
is
Lorenz is set up.
47 and Lurantis is 45.
You know what, Lurantis, it has actually a bunch of good tools, so that explains why that thing is rock bottom of the barrel ZU actually, because you wouldn't think it based on its other traits, like contrary Leaf Storm, brother. What's this thing not doing in you? Get it over there.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, speed means a lot in Pokemon, as a big body press comes off.
That body press did a lot, honestly. Like considering it's a Quagsire, that might be max defense. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get it there. But yeah, like I said before, Earthquake. Not even. I wonder if that's even a free KO Emerald. Yep, another body press.
But hopefully, at least, I mean, that Earthquake, I don't know how much it's going to do from CC from Star After, but they still have the Gudra. And I'm just really trying to remember, because, I mean, after the Cobalion and the Inkay is not that big a deal, but what's their last Pokemon on Kingbura side? I can't remember.
Can't remember off the top of my head either. I'm wondering if this Cobalion is packing some kind of resistance bear. Have we seen an item on this thing yet?
We have not. But we know it's not Shuka. It could, but I could see it being Chople.
Exactly, that's what I was alluding to earlier. I believe it might be Chople potentially to take a close combat from Staraptor there. Now the Gudra is going to come in on Brandon's side, and funnily enough, this obviously, you're kind of bluffing Fire Blast here because you don't actually have it, but it will threaten out this Cobalion if Kingbura doesn't want to take one of those. Does actually stay in a body press to a KO. That's crazy.
That is crazy, and so now you're gonna have to force this Staraptor to be locked into a move here in a minute.
We are going to go for Draco Meteor, trying to call out the switch here. It will also do a lot of damage to the Cobalion still, so we are able to do that. Drop a Draco on the Cobalion and take it out, but not before doing a lot of chip damage to Gudra. So Inkay might potentially come in and score a kill here, or if the other Pokemon on Kingbura side wants to come out. We'll see about that, I suppose, but yeah, Kingbura going to have to be careful in this 2v2 endgame, because Brandon still has both of his 18-pointers alive still.
Well, one of them's almost dead. The other is going to be Choice Lock, so it'll be interesting to see. Honestly, because you're at -2 attack right now, I don't know if it'd be worth it to try to switch out here. They do have a physical attack at least to try to hit with. Ooh, but the Inkay just outspeeds. What is this thing speed stat?
Outspeeds and goes for a foul play. So Inkay does go for a nice little foul play and takes it out. And I wonder if this thing is a Violite. I'm wondering if it's actually going to be able to take a Brave, but decides not to go for it.
Nope.
Oh, and it doesn't live, unfortunately. Nope, not even a Violite Inkay could take on the Choice Scarf. This mod is so strong. We'll see if the unrevealed yet revealed last
the Cacturn! How could I forget the Cacturn? This thing has Sucker Punch. It was Jover.
It's the Terra Poison Cacturn. Yep, there's the Sucker Punch, and down it goes. So very, very narrow 1-0 victory. We saw a KO from the Inkay there, which is beautiful. So yeah, great game. GG's.
I'm looking at this score. This thing is 45 speed on the on the Inkay as well. So the fact that it outsped the Gudra, that might have been Scarf Inkay?
That would have been fire, honestly. That's a great tag.
All right, there we go. All right, we're here for Pokemaster versus Stefan. This is a big game for Stefan, trying to make their way into playoffs. They need to beat the #1 overall seed, though, Pokemaster, in order to do it. We've got some berries on Pokemaster, the classic Flame Orb, Heracross, Focus Sash, Zoroark, sorry. Meanwhile, we've got pretty much like all of Stefan's staples over there. I feel like this is his standard 6.
Yeah, so do I. I feel like this is definitely the 6. We've seen the Clawitzer a lot of times from Stefan. Definitely sort of, if it works kind of team. No Flame Orb Zoroark on the on deck for Chris's team, so not going to be putting any particularly tomfoolery Zoroark strategies. We did disguise the Altaria as Zoroark this game, so we'll see if that comes into play at all. As Mienshao actually going to be forced out now by the Slowking, and instead going to go into the Clawitzer, which eats a big Thunder Wave, so that's going to be a big cripple to it for the rest of the game.
Yep, I mean, this thing is already fairly slow, and now it's super duper slow. as they send in Big Claude to try to deal with this thing.
Yep, Wardrobes up Claude's Eye, very, very solid check. He's going to go for the Mega Launcher Dragon Pulse here. Actually, that's quite a decent chunk, to be fair.
Yeah, and if they Terra, oof, that's going to do even more.
Absolutely here. As blue, yep, we have seen Terra Dragon quite a few times from Stefan, and we are indeed going to terrestrialize now, so we'll see. Yep, it is Terra Dragon, so let's see if this Dragon Pulse actually gets the 2-kill. I believe Chris just went for a spike here, as we actually went for an Ice Beam instead, which I'm pretty sure Dragon Pulse would have been stronger Emerald, because this is not boosted by Mega Launcher.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Because you got a stab Mega Launcher 2.25 times versus the 2 times super effective. And Dragon Pulse is 95 versus 90, so yeah.
I'm pretty sure Dragon Pulse is stronger, yep.
Yes.
As unfortunately, it just misses out on the KO there with Dragon Pulse there, which allows Chris to get a big recover off. So now going to be forced to switch out and into the Mienshao, which obviously, I think we can both agree, screams triple axle. And,
yes.
Switch into an Earthquake, it still takes quite a lot of chip, as we know Mienshao does have Regenerator, luckily.
No Rocky Helmet Mon here, perhaps fearing a potential Rocky Helmet Mon switch in. It says switch and get the region. In comes Duchess once again, and could potentially get off on a chilly reception.
Interestingly enough, I wonder if this is the Pokemon that Stefan expected to switch out or like switch in, because he did pull a spicy double. You know, this is interestingly enough. You know, this is the week that the spicy doubles have actually worked out. You know, we've seen weeks in the past where all the coaches just, pardon my language, eat shit after they pull a double.
Yeah.
Yvonne stays in and
just attack.
Them, but exactly. But this week the doubles have worked out. I do love to see it.
Now take a look at this moveset on this Heracross Scorpion. Let me know what you think.
We're running Swords Dance and Lunge. What is Lunge?
No close combat, no facade. If they would have just had a Trailblaze and close combat and facade, that might have been over at this point. But unfortunately, I do believe the Pokemaster said that they forgot to change the moveset last week, or at some point, or they brought the wrong one.
We're +2/+2 now though, so we'll see.
Yeah, but they have. It's just not going to be able to do as much, even with lunge and knockoff. You know.
For my Dead by Daylight players out there, we're running coup de grace. We're going for big lunges here.
Absolutely.
That's a reference that no one's going to get, but we're going to get big lunges.
It's just unfortunate that, you know, like, if they had facade, I think they just won.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate situation. Well, unless the Mienshao here has Fake Out, but I don't think it has. Stefan has not been running that much this season. We'll see how he responds. Oh, yep, going to just go straight into the Slowking here, which actually doesn't even have Psychic Stab, so probably just try and get some momentum on this thing or paralyze it.
Yeah, a lot of interesting, like, I think that the move sets are really killing Pokemaster this battle, so he's kind of trying to work with him. But you would think, you know, that, you know, in a draft game you had them all lined up, but I wonder if Pokemasters had the classic Week 9 fatigue syndrome.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm chilling, bro. I don't care what happens. I'm just gonna bring lunge here across this battle. It's gonna work out just fine. No worries.
Yes. Gonna pop the Terra Fairy with the Alluring Voice. Should do some pretty big damage.
If you terrestrialize this Altaria, now Stefan's gonna know exactly which Pokemon is Zoroark, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. That's the one of the downsides of having Zoroark, you know.
Yep.
But, you know, at least, I mean, the Mienshao's gone, so that's Stefan's most valuable Pokemon on his team, so getting rid of it this early is pretty solid.
You know what I noticed interestingly about Zoroark? I noticed that the AI in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet actually don't give a damn about Zoroark, because I'm running a Hisuian Zoroark in my playthrough for the DLCs right now, and like you can have a Dark type in front of an opposing fighting type, and they'll just like it'll be, oh no, sorry, you'll have like something that, you know, they'll have a move that doesn't hit your Pokemon but does hit the Zoroark, right? So let's say you have a Dark type.
Yep.
And they'll just click a Ghost move, or sorry, a Dark move themselves, because they know it's a Zoroark. It's really funny. They are.
Wow, they know.
Yeah, it's not like the Ultra Necrozma in Sun and Moon that you can fool.
Yes, that's how I got through Ultra Necrozma.
As did I. I also had Zoroark on my in-game team back then.
Yes.
All right. Sorry for going off topic, but I just found it really fun that the AI is better at catching Zoroark than human players are.
Yes, I guess it just, you know, it sees the super effective button, or no, I don't know, it's able to just see through the They got X-ray vision goggles or something.
Yeah, literally that. Literally. Alright, let's see the Chandelure now. It actually gets put in a good position to fire off some big Shadow Balls here. That's going to force the Pokemaster to sack his Altaria there. So that's the first KO, but I think Chris still has a very marginal lead in this game.
Yes, now they got Big Claw to be able to come in. Stefan just decides to stay and fire off a Shadow Big Spit F drop there as Pokemaster greedily getting up these T-Spikes.
Greedy
You know,
Toxic Spikes.
I love some hazards myself, but I mean, it's still it's a Chandelure. I mean, and you don't have the best switches to it. Otherwise, I would just want to get rid of it.
Yeah,
So, wow, managed to live in with this F drop.
10 HP, and Pokemaster not even giving a any second thoughts about going for a potential recovery. Just straight for the KO, straight for the throat with the Earthquake.
Yeah.
Yep. And just takes it out.
There we go. We see that.
Now the Brute Bonnet, though. Now comes out the Brute Bonnet, and it has the potential for a Trailblaze here. As we have a Boost Energy as well. Oh, Boost Energy attack. We'll see if this thing can actually do some damage here, because if it has close combat, I mean, it could. I guess the thing is don't steal at full health, but still, it does have a good time here. I wonder if Stefan has ever even brought Spore on this Brute Bonnet, because it is legal in our league. We do have Sleep Claws, but, you know, it's only limited. It's not banned.
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't think they've... I feel like maybe in the earlier weeks, but, you know, I think he kind of wants to use this as more of like a really offensive Mon and try to... But, I mean, Breloom is offensive and it uses Spore all the time, so... Big Stomping Tantrum, massive damage to this Tinkaton.
Big Stomping Tantrum. I feel like Loki, if Stefan had gone a little bit of chip on this Brute Bonnet, he might have actually been able to pull off a good late game sweep, because as we said before, it does have that Trailblaze, which it was able to get up. So now, unfortunately, it's locked into Stomping Tantrum, which Chris has no immunities to, so there's that. But
yeah, it's a good thing he got that T-Spike up, but even then, I mean, the Brute Bonnet is not taking that much damage, so I mean, gonna have to figure out some way to deal with this thing. It's locked in. They do have the Focus Sash Zoroark on deck, which should be able to, in theory, stop this thing from doing too much more.
That is true here. I wonder if this Heracross is actually able to take the Stomping Tantrum, you know, because it's only going to be like non-stab and it's resistant to ground, obviously. But no, we're going to see the Slowking come out instead.
Slowking. Well, I don't know what Pokemaster was thinking here.
Well, at least it's still locked into that move for one more time. But yeah, we can't really touch it. So I guess we're just stalling for poison turns is what's happening here.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, I guess they really want to keep that Focus Sash intact on Zoroark.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. If you go for another Stomping Tantrum, just the last thing of being Encore, I believe. A couple Scalds coming off, and now the poison knocks it into the red. Now Encore ends, though, so we'll see how Chris responds. Yep, just going to sack off the Slowking. We do have the Crunch attack, but I don't think that's going to save it. It actually did save it. Nope, I lied.
There we go, the Colbert. All right, there we go.
Yep. You know, for a big Crunch. You know what would be very, very funny if Crunch, because it was a biting move, would eat the opponent's berry and negate it.
That would be crazy, yeah.
What was the other move that does that? Pluck?
Pluck or Bug Bite.
Oh yeah, Bug Bite does too, yep.
Well, this thing is dead to the next turn, but I fear that it might take this Heracross down with it.
We do have Zen Headbutt on deck off, which is really cool.
That was a potential, that was a risky play. I mean, they could have missed that.
Absolutely, but it is a cool tech, you know, showing it off, because that does mean that the Brute Bonnet did have like the right coverage. I mean, obviously you have to have coverage for Heracross, right? Because it's
yes,
resist most of your stab. Yeah, exactly. This Slowking was very chipped earlier. Now it's
I wonder what it is. Oh my! Brings it down to its sash. This Zoroark has not died once this entire season. It might be about to get its first death.
Yep, indeed. Yeah, obviously. Stefan
going for some paraflinches here, Scorp.
Ooh, paraflinch city. Let's see. Do we get another one? Oh no. Poor Stefan gets paraflinch twice in a row, and another Dark Pulse will take it out. That's Stefan's not his last Pokemon yet, but oh, that's unfortunate.
That is
shame too, because he got like, I mean, obviously it was kind of dead obvious, right? But still, I did find it very funny going right for the Aura Sphere, you know, not being fooled by that. I'm pretty sure he like insta-locked that in. It was like, yep, this is the Zoroark, not difficult at all.
Yeah, ooh, he's got a Colbert Berry himself.
All right, we've seen this Farigiraf pop off in the late game. You know, obviously there's the Luxray, right, that we've put on the spotlight a lot, but I feel like Stefan has been cooking with this Farigiraf just
Farigiraf. It put in work in the last week as well versus Danger Dave.
Absolutely. Big agility, hyper voice. Now, Slowking is very, very specially defensive, so it's going to be very, very close this game. I wonder if it's actually able to take it out. Going for big hyper voice. Lives
Ooh,
the
that's
skull, but unfortunately
super
the toxic spikes.
close.
Lives the
Wow.
skull, but unfortunately toxic spikes will take it out. Such a close game, though. I think Stefan did play this game beautifully. And yeah, GG's to both
That was
sides. That
great. I mean, coming
was
in within like, I mean, because realistically, if they hadn't gotten flinched, I mean, well, I'm trying to think. He might have been able
might
to
have been
win
able to pull
that.
it off.
Might have been
I
able.
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
yeah, because it was that close. You know, Farigarath could have got an extra hit off. Like that would have been
yeah.
been game.
Realistically though,
Yeah. No,
if Pokemaster had facade on his Heracross,
yeah. No, it
it
could have been
might have been
over.
over a lot earlier. But you know, one of those things.
Indeed, and this does actually secure first seed in playoffs for Pokemaster. So we'll get to
Yes,
that
indeed, a
when the
very
time
important
comes.
game. Yeah. All right, we are here for the final game of Week 9. We got Danger Dave versus Lazyboi. Of course, Danger Dave has been locked out of playoffs for a bit now, but Lazyboi is fighting for their spot. I mean, pretty important in terms of picking who they're going to face. We got double Damp Rock over here with the Damp Rock Registeel returning, as well as an Assault Vest Golem Alola. And Blunder Policy on the Toxicer. This is some heat coming out from Danger Dave.
Absolutely, I'm loving Danger Dave's sets this week, and overall just in the season. You know, this is the final week of the watch togethers for the regular season here in BHDL season 6. And I gotta say, Emerald, I've been, you know, he might not be making playoffs, but I've been absolutely loving Danger Dave's sets this week. I feel like the newcomers this season have really you know, put up some entertainment for us here. Like even Fournaubyl and Daisy Dave have had some really cool sets, and Zeus made it to the playoffs. So yeah, definitely big compliments to all of them. And I'm very excited to see this matchup between Danger Dave and Lazy. We did see the Arbok come off the bench for Lazyboi as well, which I forgot to mention in the team preview, or didn't get to mention. But I'm very excited to see what that thing does as well. So we're going to see the trick here without choice specs Reggie's.
Yeah, that's not very good for this Registeel. It does at least manage to get off a rain dance.
Yeah, so Flamethrower does absolutely nothing.
Which, you know, I can understand why, because you don't really want to necessarily switch in the Politoed to take this thing on, because then it's just gonna die to a grass coverage move. So does at least have it for Barraskewda later if they can get that thing in.
Absolutely. We're going to see Marshall, the Alolan Executor, coming on a big Draco Meteor, unfortunately. That is a lot of damage. We are Terra Water this week, and it looks like Danger Dave is actually going to go for it. I believe, well, is the Bear Tick a Terra Captain? I don't think it is, right? No, so this is the Terra Captain of choice this week for Danger Dave. We are going to Terrestrialize here, but we will be weak to grass, so we'll see if if Lazyboi stays and just goes for, the grass move, and unfortunately that takes it out. Yeah, that was a risky play.
That is unfortunate, yeah. Even at -2, I mean, I just feel like that Executor is so strong, like 125 special attack or something. But the Toxicroak is in.
I just noticed this thing has dynamic
punch. Blunder Policy dynamic punch. We love to see it.
I love this set so much. Honestly, click that dynamic punch, brother. Get that speed boost.
Yes, or the potential confusion. We'll see what they want to go out. They do have a Houndstone that would like to switch into both of these. They do go for the gun shot here. Yep, Scuba Boo comes in. That's fair. It will at least take a little bit of chip. Ah, never mind. It misses.
Unfortunately, it misses.
But the Blunder Policy is here. He's got it on deck.
See, but now that's probably not what Danger Dave wanted, because now this Houndstone is like he's gonna be forced to stay in a little bit and maybe eat a Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah, no, it's very unfortunate here. Would have preferred to get that off later. Yeah, Throat Chop's not going to do anything, and then Rocky Helmet, oof, yeah. Bad position here for Danger Dave to be in.
Not quite what Danger Dave wanted, I'm sure, because that's the risk of running a move, you know, multiple moves that can miss when only you really want one of them to proc the weakness policy, or the blunder policy, excuse me.
Yeah, this is kind of a bad. I mean, I think that Lazyboi might have recognized. Like, look at Danger Dave's team. Like, pretty much all physical attackers. I mean, we got the Politoed here, but you know, I mean, you need like a special breaker to try to get through this Houndstone. And without that, all normal type moves on this thing, by the way. I mean, Weather Ball is technically a water type move, but you know.
Yeah, still very funny to see. Lazyboi definitely in a very good position with Houndstone in this game. Gonna be walling a lot of Danger Dave's attackers, I'm pretty sure. We will get the Peristrong on the Volcanion, at least on the Switch, so that thing will be forced out eventually, even if it's, you know, just in good attacking positions. Gonna bring the Dry Skin Toxicroak back in though, as it goes for a Fire Spin. So both players kind of in risky situations here. Luckily for Danger Dave though, this Fire Spin is gonna wear off soon when the Volcano gets forced out.
Yeah, but you know, anytime that this thing comes in, they just, I mean, there's no reason not to just go Houndstone again. Actually, just stay in. Never mind. I guess they just want to get rid of this thing.
Well, Earth Power takes it out.
Well, I guess it's like, you know what? I may as well. I know that I can live with it. It's burned, so I may as well just take it out. But at least get some chip off on the Volcanion.
We do. Danger Dave does know now, though, that this Volcanion is going to be forced to switch out here. So we're going to see the Scope Lens Focus Energy Barraskewda here, which I absolutely freaking love. I wonder if the rain's actually going to stick around for long enough to... Yep, it is going to stick around.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that damp rock on that Polytoad.
Yep. Let's see if this crit liquidation actually gets to go. I don't think it will, but... Ooh,
Oh, that does even less than I thought. That's unfortunate.
Man,
The
that's...
pain split.
Houndstone
No way
is
to
so
win this.
bulky, man.
Yep, even in the rain, man. That's unfortunate. Night Slash, big crit though. Which continues to take more damage. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Poltergeist should easily kill.
That takes it out, unfortunately. Yeah, this Houndstone is so difficult to break for you. You really gotta, like, you know, I mean, I guess it did put it in range of the Vertic, though. So if you are
well,
able
let's
to
hope
bring
it's
it again,
let's hope it's in range. All right, Icy
good.
Crash. There we go.
All right. Well, in that case, it was actually a pretty good, at least, you know, game plan for Danger Dave to be able to weaken the Houndstone with one mon and then, you know, take it out with the other. So at least we might still be able to do something with this Vertic later on in the game. Unfortunately, now this Gladion has a completely free Sacred Sword, though. So yep, down goes the Registeel. Goodbye, sir.
Yes, very unfortunate there. As now all that they really have to hope on is that Polytoad and Vertic are able to do something.
Yeah, I think, you know, considering Polytoad is more of a support one, I think it's all going to be down to Vertic here. Lazyboi, interestingly enough, not packing Leaf Blade or maybe being locked in.
Just heals it back up.
Yep, comes back in with the Weather Ball there. So we'll see if Vertic can take it home. But Lazyboi has the Fire Spin on deck here, which allows it to just stall out those range turns. So yeah, I think.
And unfortunately, I do believe that now this Polytoad is going to die to its own Parasong. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. Hands up in the air, you know, kind of just accepting his fate here at this point.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate here. As Volcano is just basically going to just stay in and switch out on the last turn is what we're going to expect to see. Yep, goes for another Fire Spin.
Is Danger Dave the only person in our league this season that has face cam videos?
I want to say that no, Aprater.
Oh yeah,
and Kingbura.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true actually. Kingbura's face cam is a little bit smaller. So it doesn't actually, and he obviously has an overlay as well, so it doesn't stand out as much. But I think Danger Dave's the only one that actually has like a face cam and just raw gameplay footage. Yes. But still, I think I gotta compliment Danger Dave's enthusiastic reactions here. He's definitely showing emotion through these games, and I love to see that.
Yes, and now we are down to the final mon, being the Vertic. The Classic Florages is back once again, but there's no way that they can. I mean, they can try to do a bunch of damage, but Florage is able to surprisingly live.
Nearly gets a kill. I gotta also give a quick shout out to Danger Dave's repping his mascot. You know, the Snorlax on his shirt.
Oh, true enough. I just noticed that.
Gotta love that. Let's see if unfortunately that Icicle Crash is 4x
4x
resisted, of course. Yep, and down it goes to the Steam Eruption. So yeah, big win for Lazyboi there, but you know, we gotta give compliments to Danger Dave for his cooking there. Really great sets, and might not have made the playoffs, but I absolutely love Danger Dave and his sets all throughout this season. Like, honestly, respect.
Absolutely, there we go. All right, we are here for the last game that we did not get to see, but Anna versus Arcaniner, which, you know, when we ran this through the Chat GPT, the AI analysis, it told us that this was the most important game, the most pivotal game in terms of deciding multiple outcomes, and it ended up being that Arcaniner did in fact lose to Anna here, which got Anna her spot in the playoffs. So we could see Muck and Lilamola getting 2 kills there. This very bulky team able to withstand the offensive presence of Arcaniner's team.
Yep, Arcanine are sneaking in a couple of extra KOs with his Noivern, which is his famous kill leader this season, and also the Terrazep Striker there. I feel like this setup of Mons is very, very familiar with Arcaniner. Very, very, very solid play. I do love the Virizion coming off the bench for the final week as well. Looks like it was a close battle for sure. You know, 2-0 is definitely down to the wire here. And I need to know what happened with this Alola. Like, Alola is the last Pokemon I expect to get a KO in any of these games.
You see, it's better than you might think, Scorp. It's better than you might think. Just fire off some skulls.
Well.
I mean, I could see it versus like Donphan and Entei.
Yeah, but we also have a Vaporeon that completely blocks anything it wants to do with Water Absorb, so I'm very curious.
I wonder how that Vaporeon went down. I would have assumed that Braylon took it out, but no, it didn't. So something else, maybe Cyclizar hit it with Power Whip or something, I don't know.
Maybe a poison from Mach, like that could be a thing.
Maybe over time, yeah, but...
I'm very, very surprised that Alola was able to do that. Like, I'm gonna be honest, Emerald. If I'm the Alola player and I see a Vaporeon on the other side, I'm just not bringing it. Like
what? Okay, I don't think we need to go that far, Scorp. This thing is still Wish Pass, I mean, and knockoff. Hey, Let's not get carried away.
Listen, Anna.
They've got an Entei, brother.
I don't. And Anna clearly knows something I don't, and you're very right about that. I guess it has Baton Pass, yeah. I need to not forget that it has Baton, but it doesn't just have Flip. It's not Gen 6 Alola suddenly, at least.
Yeah. I mean, Rocky Helmet region, you know, pretty solid.
Yeah. But still, like, just what it's, I was mostly referring to, like, just because of its, like, Alola is a pivot, and, you know, if you can't pivot because there's something that blocks it, it becomes very passive. So I'm very, very shocked that against the Vaporeon team was able to get 2 KOs.
I agree, though. That does genuinely surprise me, though. But yeah, there we go. And so with that is all the games played. So we can tabulate now here our final standings here. We have our top 8 coaches in the playoffs. Very cool to see. We got Pokemaster, Lazyboi, Cody, Al, Kingbura, DrVr, Zeus, and Anna, who are all qualified for playoffs.
Yep, congratulations to these coaches here, for sure. Definitely some of the expected faces here. I think all of us were expecting Pokemaster to get on. It was all kind of sort of hinting towards Cody making it as well, obviously having a very, very strong start to the season. Abomination and Kingbura, known as very, very solid trainers from seasons past, also not too surprised to see them here. But definitely also a bunch of really, really cool players here. First of all, we should mention Lazyboi with the incredible run this season, 7-2 with plus 21 differential. This has easily been Lazyboi's best season in BHDL so far. And it's not just like that he finally did it, you know, making it to the playoffs, but he did so convincingly. Like he got there by far. Second seed, managed to overtake Cody, who's been having an amazing season, just at the last second, giving him the second choice for his opponents here. Like, hats off to Lazyboi for really, really writing the comeback story here and making it like this far. Again, it's one thing if you've never made playoffs and barely scraped by, but now he comes back with this dominant season. So I'll be very interested to see if he makes it far in playoffs. But even if he doesn't, like this season alone is like, this screenshot right here is an achievement for him. So
yes,
congrats to that. Zeus, as we said before, you know, his team was never considered that good, but he showed us, he proved us wrong. He piloted the Luxray especially all the way there. -1 differential, which is very, very interesting. But yeah, was able to make playoffs, so congrats to Zeus, and I hope you do well in playoffs, my brother. We do still have BHDL champ representation as well, with Anna barely scraping by, 5-4, -2 differential, but like despite the silly, you know, like despite a couple of difficulties on our season, there still manages to get there as well. So I don't know about you, Emerald, but I think this is anyone's game. This is a release, especially like for a season that doesn't have like myself, you, v.II, or Raymond. This is still like a stacked playoffs, I would say.
Absolutely, and we also got to give a big shout out to DrVr. If you take a look at week 5, he was 1-4 score. He went on to win every single other game and managed to clinch his playoffs position. So big congrats to DrVr as well. And we've seen, love the heat that they bring to every single game. So it's incredible.
Yeah, no. It's great you mentioned that, because DrVr is absolutely one of my fan favorites in BHDL. Great guy, great person that I've talked to many, many times. And I didn't do any mocks with him this season, so he did this all by himself, which is very, very impressive. And yeah, his first BHDL playoffs as well. So I'm definitely rooting for him to do well in the playoffs too. It's going to be a great time for sure.
Yep. Oh, I mean, I should have mentioned this when we watched the Lazyboi versus Danger Dave game, but that was the battle of the Snorlax teams. We had the Sleepy Laxingtons and the San Antonio Snorlax. That's
Absolutely,
crazy.
yep. Lazyboi was able to come out on top though.
Yep.
And there's we also have the like obviously from the just below the playoffs we have Brandon who just barely didn't make it.
Still had +3 differential score.
That's what I was just gonna say actually. Yep, there's still +3 differential. Definitely still played a solid game, and we can see how I do like it. I do like how Brandon was able to score 3 wins in a row after fixing his team a little bit and sort of getting back on his feet after the stall allegation. So we hope Brandon's gonna come back and make the playoffs again next season. But yeah, still a valiant effort for sure.
Yes, and I was really hoping that H.I.M might be able to pull a comeback. They had a solid 2 wins in a row here against strong players, but just wasn't. They needed a lot of other folks to lose, and he also needed a win, and none of that worked out. But
No.
still, valiant effort by H.I.M, B-Nard, Aprater, Danger Dave, Fournaubyl. Stefan, I was also hoping maybe Stefan could do it. If they had a 1 versus Pokemaster, I guess they would have been able to make it in. Oh,
They might have had a chance, yeah. Well,
maybe,
they would have
depending
needed
on
to win.
Arcana and Anna.
They would have had to win, like assuming
would
that
have had
the
a
Anna
lot
versus
more.
Arcanana game. Yeah, assuming the Arcanana versus Anna game had already like happened, and with that result, Stefan would have had to win by I think like 4-0 or more.
Oof, that was tough
so
then, yeah.
Tough.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into the playoff bracket, let's just real quick show off the Pokemon leaderboard real quick. We've got Luxray, who has reclaimed their spot after Luxraying Captain B-Nard managed to get some more kills, and now it's up to 18, putting it back on top over Noivern. And I mean, if you look, like Noivern, Tauros, Glacial, just trades that these mons that are all in the top 5, they're not in playoffs.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like Luxray is the only one out of this bunch, like out of that top 4 anyway, that is going to continue its conquest in playoffs there, and is also just able to, can also have a shot at continuing its quest to take my Lunala's throne for the. Well, obviously it'll probably be the kill leader this season anyway, so we're gonna see it on the logo.
Yeah,
next season,
I think
very
it's
likely.
a good chance that Luxray is the logo that's going to be the killer. Whether or not it overtakes Lunala, though, I think they need like 6 more kills. They need 7.
7, yes. So my Lunala was 20, and it's also like it's lost its chance of getting a better KD, I think, because my Lunala only had 3 deaths, I believe. So
Wow.
Yeah, I had a crazy KD, but still, no. That's a Lunala, that's a 30-point Uber. Where this is a freaking.
This is a
Luxray.
Luxray. I think it's proven itself, though. I think it's already sent the message out. So.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely gonna be interested to see if it does any more work in the quarterfinals here.
Yes, but in order to do that, though, let's take a look at the bracket here and see. So as we know, we had Pokemaster, who was the first, then Lazyboi, then Cody, then Alice, the order who they got to pick. And we had Pokemaster choosing to go up against Zeus. He wants that rematch. That was the only match that he lost for.
Yep, the 8-1, and he wants that rematch. I definitely respect Chris for that. Wanting to wanted to get back that perfect season essentially by taking out the person he lost to. I think you guys talked about it in the quarterfinals preview match though, or the video, excuse me.
Yeah, we had an almost 2-hour video. If you guys want to see an in-depth breakdown on all these matchups.
Exactly, but what I was going to allude to is just the fact that I think historically rematches have done very, very well, like for the person who lost in BHDL. So I definitely understand this choice, and it was a very close match, I believe, as well. So he can definitely win it this time, I believe.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have Lazyboi versus Kingbura. This is this is some power right here. I mean, what was it, like the number 2 and 4 or no, the number 2 and 5 seed? I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yes, indeed. Definitely, these playoff matches are all rematches, right? So definitely
they're all rematches, yeah.
Yep, and this one is similar, where Lazyboi did win the match initially, so we'll see if Kingbura is able to come out on top and get his revenge here.
Yes, he does have a very good matchup, in my opinion.
Yes, probably. So we'll see how that works out. Then we on the other side of the bracket once more we have Al versus DrVr, 2 of my absolute favorite players in the season, facing off against each other. Another rematch. Who won this the first time? I think Al did, right? With the jump
Al
bluff?
did. Yep. That was the classic week 1 jump bluff with the strength sapping the Phalanx, which is no longer on the team.
No longer on the team indeed. So it's going to be a bit of a different match. Be interested to see how these players cook for each other though. Because I don't think DrVr is going to let that jump off the shenaniganry happen again. So we'll see how he adapts it this time.
Yep. And then finally we have Cody versus Anna. Cody did manage to win that match as well, so it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, we broke down all these matches in depth on a video already if you guys want to check that out. But we will be back next week with quarterfinals recapping these games. We're not going to be able to see Cody versus Anna because it's not being recorded, but you at least have 3 more games next week to watch.
And before we round it off, I did actually want to note that we launched a poll saying predicting who was going to be the future champion, and Anna was the only person that no one voted for, tragically. So I wonder if that's going to fuel. I wonder if that's going to fuel her fire and allow her to have another repeat of season 3, where she's the dark horse in the league. And just obviously she's no longer a dark horse because she's already won 1 season. But I wonder if that's going to motivate her to bring it all the way again. Now Cody, very very solid player, obviously had a big redemption this season. So I'll be very very happy for either of those players, whoever wins. But I just wanted to mention that because I want to acknowledge that I think Anna is no person you can sleep on, and I would not be too surprised if she still
I will
wins,
say that the Cody does remind me a lot of the best, because the best was like number 2 in the overall standings, and he had just beaten Anna the week prior, but then Anna managed to, in the rematch, get the dub, and then he continued to just go on from there in playoffs. So, history sometimes does repeat itself. We'll see whether or not that stays true here, but it's be interesting to see.
Absolutely. So yeah, definitely anyone's game on these playoffs here. We are recording this as it is on Saturday, so the games are probably going to go live tomorrow. We'll probably be here next Saturday again to record the recap of the quarterfinals. The results will probably be in already, but we're very excited to see these games, and we hope you are too.
Yes, indeed. And with that, we will see you guys next week for the quarterfinals analysis. Peace out.
Be sure to subscribe to the Battle Hub Draft League YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to Emerald Miner and myself as well. And with that, indeed, I'll see you guys next week.